Hey guys, it's Leanna from PremiGames.com, and today we are celebrating a super special character for Pride Month. June is celebrated as Pride Month for the LGQTB plus community, and it's a time to celebrate who we are after hard-fought battles were won for rights and general acceptance. Queer characters in games are nothing new, especially when looking at BioWare franchises, though still generally underrepresented, but there's one in particular that had a storyline that mattered in a guttural way that spoke to millions of gamers all over the world. Dorian Pavus was introduced in Dragon Age Inquisition as a well-bred gay mage from Tevinter, the land of blood magic and free-reign mages free from chantry control. There were many toxic traits of Tevinter culture, though not saying it was all bad, including the rampant slave trade, questionable magic use, and the focus on breeding to keep one's name in the Imperium above individual happiness. That obsession with preserving the line led to a shunning of same-sex relationships due to those relationships not bearing children for that same family tree. And with heritage being such a strong mantra for this location, it's more than generous to say that there was little to no tolerance. When the Inquisitor meets Dorian, he's glib, seemingly arrogant, and has a nasty habit of rubbing people the wrong way, but once those protective layers of metaphorical armor were shed, the character underneath was strong yet vulnerable, intelligent yet hungry for more knowledge, and genuinely a good man despite all attempts to make him feel to the contrary. He's also a gay man that has a deep-rooted denial of self-happiness due to his countrymen and because of his own family. Howard Pavus, as Dorian's father, tried to use blood magic in a ritual to change Dorian, something the Inquisitor learns after speaking to him on a regular basis. This attempt could have left Dorian dead or a quote-unquote vegetable, something that Dorian admitted in an emotional one-on-one with the player. But to him, his father didn't care. He would rather a vegetable than a disgrace, and it was that nefarious attempt that caused Dorian to flee Tevinter and join the fight down south to prove that there was something about Tevinter worth saving, and he then became a symbol for positive change. What made his character so special was not that he was gay, though representation is important. It was how BioWare crafted his loyalty mission into a scenario that spoke to many. Coming out sometimes has dangerous overtones. There are many cases of young adults coming out to their parents only to be disowned, beaten, or even worse. In Thetis, that worst included a blood ritual, but his personal quest took him and the Inquisitor to Redcliffe for a one-on-one scene with Dorian and his father, a scene that is made even more impactful for a male Inquisitor romancing this particular character. During this scene, Dorian sheds all propriety and lets his anger be felt when faced with his father in the small tavern. The entire meeting was a setup, as Dorian and the Inquisitor thought that they were meeting a family retainer to try to bring him home, only to find out that this was all a smokescreen and they were face to face with his father himself. The dialogue was raw, no matter which options were chosen, but where it was truly special was the proud and mighty Howard Pavus admitting his wrongdoings and taking responsibility for the lost trust between himself and Dorian. This was especially powerful because at first Howard was resistant to understand exactly where he went wrong, but later realized he was losing his son. Dorian, as one could imagine, couldn't shake his suspicion that this was yet another trap, but if given the opportunity from the Inquisitor as a show of support, Dorian has the option to leave his words unsaid, or has a chance to hear from Howard his remorse and actions for the road ahead and how to repair their relationship. It's not a band-aid, and that's important. The relationship isn't magical. He magically mended if Dorian chooses to stay and hear his father out, but it does open up a new dialogue tree with the Inquisitor to talk about those very real emotions that so many feel when faced with being hated for who they are, and in those beautiful moments when that hate dissolves into something and becomes a fertile ground for new beginnings, accepting beginnings. With Dorian's personality seemingly so egotistical and proud, seeing him at his most vulnerable and listening to how deep-rooted his country's attitudes are about homosexuality and his own father's disapproval really elevated this character into something special. His growth as a person independent of his country and his family came back tenfold when he truly gave himself to be who he was meant to become. That is a person that has a skill set and a passion to make his homeland a better place at all, a goal that really drove him to leave Tevinter in the first place. The realism and non-rushed progression of Dorian's story and growth as a character truly makes him a beloved staple in BioWare history. And because of that well-drawn-out narrative, he will always be one of my personal favorite characters of all time. This Dragon Age Inquisition was also a game that had other sexualities represented as well, including Iron Bull with his pansexuality, and Creme de la Creme, who was the first out and proud trans male character as well. There was so much about Dragon Age Inquisition that goes a little bit buried due to how open world it was and overwhelming for some, but as far as a game with acceptance and portrayal and representation, they really did a great job of being true to the community and giving fans characters that they could see themselves in. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free to like and subscribe in the comment section below and tell us what you think about Dragon Age Inquisition and Dorian Pavus. Don't forget to also check out our website at primagames.com for even more glorious features talking about Dragon Age and Mass Effect and all other games out there. We'd love to hear what you think, and also shout out and talk to us and tank all of those gaming thoughts and word vomit them to us on Twitter at Prima Games. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time.